drag tap, drag mill, all these cool drag vocab, all of which require the dead stick. More specifically, the double dead stick, because we often have drag vocab buried amidst a whole bunch of single strokes. And that seems a little more self-explanatory here, right? What I'm doing, you can work it out, you can figure it out. When you see it on the page, it looks crazy because you've got these three little notes crammed in all these single strokes. And again, what makes it hard is that guy right there. So anytime you see a drag, or refer to a drag in pipe band drumming, it's a Scottish drag, and that requires a dead stroke. Dramatic. I agree. So, one other thing I want to point out that's a little bit more unique, while the drama is high, would be the use of tap roll figures. So clearly you can tell that we're making use of buzz rolls or multiple bounce rolls more than open stroke rolls, right? That's the nature of not just Scottish snare drumming, but a lot of European military-rooted drumming. They use Kevlar, but they play a lot of buzzes rather than a lot of doubles, right? So that's pretty self-explanatory. But a weird thing about it is the use of this. Any sort of articulation, like a half marcato over a note, it's not played like this. It's played with a single stroke instead of buzz strokes over that accent. And that's a really weird thing, because if we were to see an accent over a buzz roll figure, we would just accent that buzz. In Scottish drumming, since we have the use of tap rolls much more predominantly than open stroke rolls, you replace that with a tap. So you hear a lot of so on and so forth, right? Again, it's a little bit more self-explanatory, I think, when you're hanging out with me and we're drumming it than if you saw it in music. It looks really confusing on the notation, and this is why we've given you the more unique rudiment names, a breakdown of the hand motions, and then it's used in kind of a typical pipe bandy phrase. Make sense? One last rudiment to point out before we play the next piece is the smallest of what I'm proposing to be in the roll vocabulary, and this is what I call a trislet. What a trislet is a series of triple strokes, and you stick in a little buzz stroke in between the first and the second partials. So it sounds like trizolet, 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 trizolet. Super cool, right? And I mean, that is one of the rudiments that when I first saw, I went, oh my Lord, you can use that anywhere, on any drum, on a lot of different surfaces. And just again, how you have to balance that triple stroke and that buzz stroke is really where the learning process is. Sure, everyone in here can play what I just played, but to make it sound right is not about chops per se, but it's about balance and nuance. How do I phrase those three notes compared to that buzz stroke? Same thing with all that drag vocab I was playing with before. It's not just pekka, 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 drag, pekka, 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 peck. There's a lot of things you gotta learn to do to phrase to and from the rudiment, or it just doesn't sound right. And again, this is the really unique quality of the pipe band rudiments. It forces you to be musical in a way that you probably haven't been with rudiments before. We deal with long phrases in Western context, building this enormous 64-bar movement or whatever the case may be. We do this very well in contemporary American drumline, right? We talk about phrasing but on larger scales. Pipe band phrasing is the rudiment, it is the beat. So rather than talk about phrasing these two bars, we talk about phrasing one to the E of one, or how that affects going to the of two. We deal with teeny tiny microcosms, and that's where we get what I call a lot of motion in the ocean in this music. And so again, taking not just that vocabulary, but that musical influence to these instruments, to me, seems very self-explanatory, because to me, when you learn a lot of that saucy stuff, it can be difficult to become, very mechanical, like we must be many times. But when I'm able to be free with my compositions and my colleagues, I like to kind of let loose a little bit and see where this stuff flows as opposed to being purely mechanical all the time. And this is something I've learned straight up from Scottish snare drumming. It's a cool thing. So, the next piece we're going to play is